What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the DGD Podcast. It is officially full-on Bama week, and here we are to talk about it. We have a ton to talk about. This is, in my opinion, the biggest game so far. We're going to talk about it, though, Keon, and we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about 3 and out. Hey, we hit, and we're doing our game day picks. Y'all know how it is. It's Wednesday. Let's get at it. But first, the show brought to you by our friends over at Bark Performance, dgdpod.com/bark. Hey, go get hydrated, folks. Saturday's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a long day. Long day. So if you're tailgating all day like I know you are, get hydrated with Bark Performance. dgdpod.com/bark. Get 10% off your first order. Thank you, Bark. Keon, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
Absolutely.
How you feeling about this game, man? It's coming off of a bye week. A little bit of nerves. Yes, no? What do you think?
Yeah, very much so. Big game. But really excited more than anything. It's always good to see the Dogs be able to put on a good performance in front of the crowd, in front of a home crowd at night. Prime time is going to be beautiful. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, under the lights, right? You got the fireworks now, right? It's a whole different ball game than the last time that Alabama walked into Athens, right?
Yeah, we're serving alcohol.
That's a lot of potent potables there.
Potent potables.
Just saying. But no, I'm looking at this game, and it feels good, right? From a Georgia perspective, it feels good to see that we're able to actually go and stay home and not go to Tuscaloosa, not go to a neutral site and have to play them in Atlanta or Indianapolis. But, you know, it's been a while, dude. I mean, again, 2015 was the last time. And listen, Alabama beat the shit out of us last time in Athens. Things can change, though. This is a whole different Georgia team, in my opinion. So we've got a lot, we've got a lot of things that we've changed since then. And I think our fan base has gotten a lot more aggressive with making it an intense atmosphere. And I think I think it's going to have a huge, huge impact on this game. So anybody listening, anybody watching, you make sure to go to that game, be loud, stay for the full game. Don't do that. Stay for the full game. You should. This is the kind of game. But yeah. But anyways, Keon, when it comes down to it, right, Ty Simpson making his first SEC start. What do you think's going on there, right? Gunner just made his in week 3 against Tennessee. Now it's Ty Simpson's turn to come on the road and play his first SEC conference game on the road. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's going to be a big game. I think it's going to be a hectic environment on the road, just like you mentioned. It's all going to be about how the game flows. I think that's the biggest thing. But for me, there's going to be a lot of depending variables, right? Like if he's going to have a clean pocket, then he's going to be able to move through and, be able to dice us up, or are we going to be able to get to him? Are we going to be able to put that pressure? Are we going to be able to get sacks? Like those are all things that are all kind of tallied into this game, which could determine the outlook. But, that's the biggest thing. That's something that I look at this very moment when I think about, what his play could be. Because like I said, he could go out there and absolutely ball out.
Yeah, no, I think there's a chance, right? I think he provides something for Alabama that Jalen Milroe just did not. They're 2 entirely different quarterbacks, so you're going to look at an entirely different offensive, what you're going to see, just simply because of that, right? I think he has better decision-making than Jalen Milroe. And honestly, if you look back to last season, Jalen Milroe killed us in the first half with his feet. Not saying Ty Simpson cannot, but he's nowhere near the threat running the ball that Jalen Milroe was. So
correct.
I think when I look at his first road game, right, this first road start, I should be specific here. I'm just sitting there thinking about it, and it's going to get very, very interesting. Can Georgia get to Ty Simpson? Can they make him uncomfortable early? Right, you don't want to get him into a rhythm because Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams will easily get open if you give them time.
Absolutely.
And listen, I know, a lot of Georgia fans are still kind of poking and prodding Bama fans for losing to Florida State the way they did in week 1. And while they've played UL Monroe, they've played Wisconsin, which is, to me, just not a great team. Sometimes those kind of games get you in rhythm and they get your confidence back. And so, to me, I just don't know if we should overlook the fact that it's still Bama. Because it may be different. It may be different, but we've also seen over time, they will get up for this game regardless. Regardless. It does not matter. They will get up for it. I'm sure to believe you get Bama's best shot Saturday.
Absolutely. They're going to definitely showcase their best shot for sure.
Yeah, as Birdcage LLC says, what up, boys? Time to whip Bama. Hey, it's that time. It's going to get interesting. I think this is going to get interesting. Keon, like I said earlier, right? It's been 2015. It's a whole decade. And now they come to Athens. Will, I'm sorry. I'm not giving Auburn the time of day right now because we are focusing on Bama. I see your comments. Thank you for your comments. I'm sorry, just not doing it. Sanjay Gorer says Bernard and Williams are the only problems. I don't think that is truly the case. Excuse me. And I'll say that because Jam Miller appears to be back and ready to go. For the run game, right? Alabama hasn't really been showing a lot with regards to running the ball. I don't think they're running the ball well at all right now. Getting Jam Miller back, though, do we see a change in that running game?
Yeah, I mean, you could see a situation where they decide to, be more active in their running approach and their running attack this game. So that is a possibility for sure, because just like we said, Ty Simpson's not going to run the ball all over the yard. So they're going to have to generate that from their running backs. And more importantly, I think the big thing to watch from them offensively, how often are they going to run the ball? Are they going to stay committed to the run? You've heard Kalen DeBoer speak previously about their run game, saying how he felt that they were lacking explosives in the run game. But, that's something that you're seeing with Georgia. They're going to keep chipping away until they break a big one, and, they'll run the ball some more. So really looking forward to that matchup moving forward.
Yeah, I just look at this matchup. I feel like this matchup is predicated on the trench play, right? I think you have to be able to run the football, and I think you have to be able to run the football effectively, regardless of what it looks like. Right? We saw this last season play out just perfectly. Who ran the football better? Not us. Jalen Milroe killed us with his legs. He ran the ball all he needed to for him. So I'm looking at that right there. And then the trench play, right? You've got a situation where, Georgia's right side, and I guess it's time for us to talk about this. This right side, Keon, it's interesting because injury report comes out. Ernest Green is doubtful. So right tackle is up in limbo, right? And one would imagine, and based off of week 3, I'm going to think that Bo Hughley gets that start, right? Now, the question is, do you put Gaston at right guard or do you put Glover at right guard? What would your opinion be? What do you expect that right side to look like?
I would put Glover at guard. I'd move Gaston at tackle to right tackle, and then have Hughley pull in as the second string right behind Juan.
See, I feel like those 3 guys are playing extremely well, but I'm going to counteract it with something here. One, in this game, experience is everything. When I say that, I think Bo Hughley at right tackle, with him being there in the system and being at Georgia for longer, I think you see, and honestly, he earned the opportunity, in my opinion, too. I would start Hughley at right tackle. just from an experience standpoint, because you've got Quay Russaw, you've got, Keon Keelan, these guys, this edge play, I know they saw what they saw against Tennessee, I would imagine. And so at that point, I'm just knowing I want experience out there. I want to make sure, guys, even if we are at home, I want us to make sure that we are seeing everything the right way, right? Our eyes need to be in the right spots, right? Our eyes need to be in the right spots. And does Kirby and Stacey Searles, do they trust two true freshmen on that right side? In this type of game, I just don't see that, Keon. So I'm going to go, in my opinion, I would go Gaston at right guard and Bo Hughley at right tackle. And I think at that point, Glover would sub in for Gaston. And if you need to, Hughley could get subbed out for Gaston. So Gaston could slide to the right tackle if Hughley needs a break or whatever the case may be. That's what I would do. And I would just roll with that until something else happens where it has to change out of those three. But the continuity here, I would imagine during the bye week, I would imagine that's been a situation that's been repped over and over and over again. Because
Absolutely.
The tape at right tackle for the Tennessee game was brutal. It was brutal. So you've got to make sure that you're getting this right. So the question is, do we trust that offensive line squad to put out the right guys? I'm going to say yes, and I think it's going to impact our running ability too. And I know that we need to be able to run the football. Like I said earlier, you have to be able to run the football in this game. So, I'm also looking at this, Keon. While we're talking about trenches, you're looking at Alabama's offensive line and what Georgia's defensive line presents. And I'll tell you right now, I think there's a situation where Chris Cole has arguably the perfect matchup to take advantage of. Now, the question is, will he take advantage of it if it presents itself? But if Chris Cole is coming off that edge and coming off the edge against Caden Proctor, Chris Cole's speed should win out there. But you know that if Caden Proctor gets his hands on you, you're going to have be strong enough to break those hands. He's going to grip you good. I think he can get got there. So I'm looking at that matchup there, just pure speed off the edge. But again, I think also I want to see Georgia's defense cause havoc before the snap. Procedural penalties would be a thing, because Alabama seems to be a penalized team on the road. So I just sit there and think about that. I think that could be an impactful situation, right, Keon? Go back to Tennessee in 22.
Absolutely.
A lot of procedural, a lot of pre-snap penalties there. Just saying, that can matter. That can matter.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on his defense, right? We talked about it Monday. We sit there, we look about what we needed to fix, what we thought we needed to fix, right? What we saw. How are we feeling defensively heading into this matchup?
I like our chances and I like our guys, man. I think Kirby, he took the time during this bye to really get onto those guys, get them to clean up the tape and some of the issues that we had. Like I said, I believe in my defensive-minded head coach to get the defense ready to go for this game. I'm just really excited.
Yeah, for sure. I think what you're going to need to do, and I think the secondary, right? We talked about it last episode. The secondary's got to get right. Do we trust Dante? Do we trust Kirby and that secondary staff, if you will? Do we expect it to change in 2 weeks, where whether it be Daniel Harris or Ellis Robinson, going up against Jeremy Bernard is going to be interesting, right? He's good. Like, he's really, really good.
Absolutely.
So it poses a different threat. I don't want to do the disservice of trying to compare him to Brazel. I think they're different receivers. But again, it presents a different challenge if you're me. I'm going to make the call that I think Dalen tries to just follow him where he goes.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense to me.
Me
Now
too.
the question is, who do you think covers Ryan Williams?
Got to get Ellis.
So you think Ellis Robinson? Well, if he goes in the slot, do we have to worry about that? Because I think there's a good chance that you got to figure that out. So
I think you do what we've talked about before. You move Dalen Everett to safety, and then of course
you mean
have
Jonell? You're talking about Jonell or Dalen?
Dalen, or
Okay.
you move him to safety, and then of course you have Ellis Robinson, and you're talking about like a Daniel Harris that are going to be there as well, and you
Yeah.
just get them. Honestly, you get them to play the field and try to cover them.
Yeah, I do bring up the question of if that were to happen, how does a true freshman, if it's Ellis or lesser experienced corner, how do they handle Jeremy Bernard after Brazel, right? Just because they're different, So that's the only question that poses me. But I want to kind of switch it back, stand with receivers. Listen, I like Bama's secondary. I do. I like Dijon Lee. I like what he can do. Bray Hubbard, when he gives all of his effort, I think is really good safety as well. But I think they did lose some, from last season, some production there. But are they gettable, do you think?
Absolutely. I don't think that, especially to my guys that are just now, getting there and getting into the season, of course. I think anybody's gettable, to be all the way honest.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Whether it be their DBs or ours, I think anybody's gettable.
I think the main factor here for me is what does Kane Womack do? Does he make changes? Like, does he make adjustments, or does he ride it out?
I think you see him being the coach that really just rides it out. I'm not seeing many massive adjustments coming from him, but hey, who knows? I mean, this game hasn't kicked off. We're talking before it, so we'll just have to see what he does. But I think until then, if I had to give a guess, I think they come out with a game plan, and they pretty much are going to stick to that game plan. They could make adjustments. Not saying they won't, but we'll just have to see what those adjustments are. Once the bullets start flying.
Yeah, no, I'm just also I kind of question that, right? I think you need to make adjustments. If you present yourself and don't make adjustments defensively, it legitimately gives the opposing offense a way better chance of attacking what you're doing. And to me, that's why Kirby and Glenn Schumann seem to really make the adjustments, and it pays off in such a big way. Hell, look at the Tennessee game. It was a perfect example. We made the adjustments, right? And they still hit some deep shot on us, right? They hit a deep shot or two still in the second half, but it was nowhere close to what it was in the first, right? And ultimately, I think those adjustments ended up winning us the game, right? The missed field goal be damned. Right? I just wonder if Kane Womack doesn't make any kind of adjustments, you're only, in my opinion, going to give Mike Bobo and Gunnar Stockton more opportunity to attack that, right? If he gets comfortable with what he's seeing, and you still don't make adjustments, I think that's a recipe for disaster if you're not careful.
No, it definitely can be. They definitely do. I will say this: their defense does have the players and the scheme for us to go out there and stop what we do offensively. But same thing, vice versa. I think we definitely do have an offense that can go out there and give them a lot of trouble. And, we've seen it with other teams, of course, but, if we come out there with a sharp game plan and, guys continue to execute for 4 straight quarters, we can end up pulling out with the win.
Yeah, and honestly, giving it the home field advantage, right? I think that's only going to help Gunner's case, right? You don't have to worry about this on the road right now. So, you try to make it difficult, because the fan base is not going to make it difficult on him, right? Just where I'm at with it. Now, the question is this, and I think this might be one of the bigger questions that Georgia fans have kind of been thinking about here. the physicality for Alabama seems to have kind of fell off a little bit, right? That's what a lot of Georgia fans I'm getting. Bama's not as physical as they once were. How big of an impact do you think that will play into Saturday's matchup?
Well, I will tell you this. I think physicality is a major part of this game, and I think that's going to be the major game plan for both teams is to go out there, play smart, fast, physical football. I will say this. I feel like in this matchup, the more physical team will come out victorious. So I do think it does come down to those three main principles, to be all the way honest.
Yeah, I think physicality is obviously going to make an impact on this game. The question is, which team weathers the storm the most, right? The best. Because just based off of history, this game is extremely physical, right? Whoever, again, it's a trench game, it feels like, right? Just gets that feeling. And, I'm just sitting there getting that feeling. Georgia's run game has been really, really making explosive plays, right? Compared to last year, light years different. Do you think Georgia pulls off some explosive plays? I think so, but I just want to get your thoughts too.
No, I definitely do think that Georgia's offense is going to have some explosive plays throughout this game. Who do I think is going to make them? Well, of course, I will mention the name Zachariah Branch. I do think a Nate Frazier and even potentially a Dwight Phillips Jr. as well could end up making some big plays, some big explosive plays for us. Who you got, Rob?
I'm sitting here. I think this is a perfect matchup for a Noah Thomas breakout game. Alabama's got these cornerbacks that are bigger bodies, right? I love what Zachariah Branch has done and really getting the screen game going. But we know that the talent for Alabama is there. And I don't expect to see the same team that played in Tallahassee. I don't expect to see that. This game, I think this game's going to come down to who wins one-on-ones. And I think Gunner's going to have to make a tight window throw or two. And if that's the case, I know Colby Young has had a great season so far, but I just get this feeling that, Noah Thomas has been lurking in the weeds through 3 games. And what better way than to
showcase his talent.
Yeah, I just think it has that ability to line up to it, right? But you're also looking at a situation where it wouldn't surprise me to see a guy like London Humphreys come out and be old faithful and have a good game. I just, I sit there, I see that. I can see multitude of options this way and from the receiving core perspective. But if I go running game, you brought up Nate Frazier. I just get this feeling, Keon, that there's a chance that this game could fall into a kind of likes of like a Chauncey Bowen style, maybe even a Josh McCray style, because you're going to have to get dirty yards with Alabama. Because honestly, running it up the middle might be the best way to do it. You've got Tim Keenan coming back, right? I think he's expected to play there. I don't necessarily, if he's 100%, there's no way to me to believe that he's 100%. The question is, how close to 100% is he going to be? Does Georgia test that? I think just his presence alone impacts that defensive line. I just get that feeling. But I'm also looking at a guy like Dwight Phillips. Can his speed impact the game and create explosive run plays? Because if our offensive line can move their defensive line off the ball, I trust Dwight Phillips' speed over Deontay Lawson and all the other guys. That's just me. But I know they're going to play physical. So that's why I also think a Chauncey Bowens or maybe even a McCray is going to be key for this game. Getting those dirty yards. Just getting them. Let's do keys to victory. If Georgia, or let's do this, if Alabama is going to come in to Athens and come away with a win, how do they do it? in your opinion? How did they do it?
Well, I think that offensive line has to play lights out. Just like Georgia, they had issues as well with their right side, and they're still, trying to find a good 5 to send out there. Um, you have the defense that comes out there striking. You're probably playing zone, sitting in zone, and you're putting your guys in positions to make picks, and you're also sending pressure to Gunnar Stockton's way to also contain him in the pocket as well. So putting him in a situation to where he has to make all of those uncomfortable throws.
I look at this offense, and Ty Simpson's got to get into a rhythm. And I think he's got to find his receivers. And honestly, I look at this situation here. If you can get Ty Simpson comfortable, right, and kind of mix up the offensive looks by utilizing Jam Miller, and you have any kind of effectiveness there, maybe, hey, Georgia, maybe a wheel route. Like, focus on that. Just be careful for that, because he's been a wheel killer for us in the past. But if Ty Simpson can get protection and get into a rhythm, it may be a long day for that defensive secondary. And I think you're going to have to do this too. You're going to have to quieten that crowd. You're going to have to strike fast, get up on Georgia, and not let go. Because if you can do that, you're going to quieten that crowd, and then all bets are off. But you have to sustain that lead. And if I'm Alabama, what's going to concern me is Georgia's willingness, or Georgia's ability there to take that shot, right? Tennessee on the road, Georgia's down 21-7, and they just keep chopping, and they keep chopping. And then Tennessee takes the lead again. And Georgia just keeps chopping, takes the lead. And then they just ride it out through overtime, and they just feel confident. Bam. Run the ball down your throat, score, game over. If I'm Alabama, I'm keeping that in my mind. I'm keeping that in my mind. You cannot let up at all, regardless of the score. Last season has to be in your mind. Last season has to be in your mind if you're Alabama. You are 28-0 at home, and then you just choke up that lead. Now, you win the game, but that game should have never been close, and you got confident, and you let off the gas. You are on the road now. You get up on Georgia. You better keep your foot on the gas. There's no stopping it. You cannot stop. You have to do it if you're Alabama. That's how you win this game.
Absolutely.
On the contrary, if you are Georgia, how does Georgia win this game?
Got to get to Ty Simpson. Got to be able to run the ball. Wide receivers got to be able to, create separation, catch passes. Offensive line is going to have to get right, and the running backs have to run with their hair on fire. Run with purpose, passion, and intensity. Well, what does Kirby say? Fire, passion, and energy? Yeah, They need to run with that. And our offensive line needs to block with that as well.
Yeah, definitely think you're right there. I think that right side's got to play a great game. So far, Monroe Freeling's played an excellent game. And he did fairly well against Tennessee. I know there was a hiccup there where he gave up the strip sack, but that's what you're going to see more defensive guys that are going to go and play at the next level this game. So you need your offensive line to play a great game. Gunnar Stockton, I think you're going to have to make a play or two with your feet and keep that defense, break the tendencies that they might want to try to do. If you can pull it down and you can run and be effective in the quarterback run game, I'm telling you right now, the creases are going to open and the run game will be there. But that also means you have to be efficient on offense, and you have to get guys down and you have to cover. I think we need to see more pressure than what we did against Tennessee, because if you give Ty Simpson that time, I see Ryan Williams possibly getting over the top if you're not careful. I just think he has that big playability. Now, I mean, also I like Bernard. I think Bernard is the best Bama receiver right now. But I just get this feeling that Ryan Williams could go off at any given time. So you have to be on your P's and Q's, and you have to play disciplined football, even at home. Even at home.
I agree.
Keon, any final things that we need to talk about before we move on?
So everybody that's going to the game and that will enjoy the game and that will have multiple potent potables, of course, please indulge responsibly and enjoy the game. Stay safe. Uber, Lyft, if you have too many of those potent potables. And then when you wake up that next morning, start your day off with Bark, baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
DGDpod.com/Bark. Hey, get 10% off too.
That's it.
But yeah, hey, it's easy. Keon, let's move over. It's let's see. Sir, it is time. Are you ready for that? You're ready for this. Let's break it down. It is time for 3 and Out. Keon, we hit.
Yes, sir. Money, 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 money.
The DGD podcast.
Money.
The DGD podcast is on the board. For those watching, we are not doing it live on the show right now. We will be doing it, but not right live on the segment here. So we pulled off $100.83. So remember, that right there goes to Bulldogs battling breast cancer at the end of the season. But we need to keep it up. We got to keep it up. I don't want to take away from that, right? I don't want to do that. Do you? Yeah, exactly. Got to get right. Got to continue the hot streak. Keep the drive alive, if you will, right? So let's break it down. Keon, for those that are not familiar, 3 and Out, 3-leg parlay. We're using FanDuel. Not a sponsored segment or anything like that, but we're using FanDuel. And each one of us get a pick, and we also collectively come together to also put in the 3rd leg of the parlay. So let's do this. We'll start with the combined game and the odds, and we'll make our bet for the first one. It is we'll say Bark Performance, 3rd leg, right? The 3rd right there. So I think we talked offline, and I think we've got a feeling about this TCU Arizona State game Friday night. Keon, here's the odds. TCU is a 2.5-point underdog on the road. 2.5-point underdog on the road.
Let's do it.
So hold on. So if we want to, the spread is 2.5. Are we looking at TCU with the 2.5, or do we just risk it and go TCU money line? Or are we going Arizona State?
TCU 2.5. Let's go. Jeremiah was a horn frog, baby.
Are we taking the points, or are we going for the outright win?
Oh, no, we're taking the points.
Plus 2.5. All right, that is a plus 102 odds right there. Okay. I was thinking Keon would go aggressive and save money line. We'll see, though. But the 2.5 points is a little helpful right there. Keon, I'm going to go ahead and give you my pick here. I'm staying on a Friday night game. And I'm going into the ACC. And I'm looking at Florida State traveling to Charlottesville, getting hosted by them Virginia Cavaliers. Keon, the spread for this matchup is -6.5. So you have Florida State with a 6.5-point favorite on the road. Castellanos is playing good football. They're explosive on offense.
I'm with you on that one.
So I'm going to take Florida State to cover, but I'm also a little bit concerned, and I'll tell you why. When I look at that, I feel like that spread should have been bigger. So what does Vegas know?
Right.
It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. I know Virginia is 3-1 right now. I just also don't think they've played anybody. Their one loss is to NC State. but they haven't necessarily played anybody. I think they just beat Stanford. So I'm not taking credit away from Tony Elliott and that squad up there. I just think that Florida State, even on the road, is too much. And if it's raining, it may be raining. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the forecast. Even then, that bodes well for what they want to do. So give me Florida State minus 6.5 at minus 122. Keon, what game are you thinking?
Oregon versus Penn State.
Ooh, we moved to the Big Ten. Oregon and Penn State, huh? Let me get to it.
For those who don't know, that game is on while the Georgia and Bama game is on.
Yeah, while I'm getting to it, that was a choice.
Yeah, it was.
That was a choice.
That was definitely a choice.
Keon, this is going to get interesting. Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite at home. So the spread is 3.5. The total is 51.5. Or do you want to take a money line?
Which one has a higher payout?
I would say the highest one right now is Oregon money line at plus 136.
Oregon money line.
Ooh. Okay. So we have our 3 legs situated right here, right? So we've got TCU at plus 2.5, right? Combined here. That's the bark pick of the parlay right there. Florida State minus 6.5. Virginia. And then Keon getting bold with it. Oregon money line. So $10, Keon. $10 has the potential to get you $76.75.
I'm with it.
All right, so let's do that right there. And you know what, though? What's going to be interesting, and as I said this, boom, done. I look at that game, and that Penn State-Oregon game, it's going to be a tricky game because both of these guys kind of have not great records against these big-time matchups. So it's going to get interesting to see what it looks like. I'm just leaving that there. But the parlay has been placed. Make sure if you're listening, watching, and you want to put it in, hey, we hit last week. Do we hit again? Let us know in the comments. But that is all for this week's 3 and Out. Keon, it's that time, my friend. It's that time.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it.
We transition from one segment to the other. This is week 5 edition of DGD College Game Day Picks. All right, folks. Week 5 is here. That means 10 more matchups on the slate, right? The Brigade has made their selections. Keon and myself have made our selections. But first things first, we need to show the week 4 results. This is the current standings through week 4. Brigade in 3rd place with 25 points. Keon, you're right above them with 26, and I am heading up with 27. So a really, really tight race there through 4 weeks. And this week is going to get very interesting. A lot of potential there for change in that top spot, considering it 2 spots separate 2 points separate 1st and 3rd. For those that are not familiar with this, 10 matchups, 1 point for a correct pick. If it's incorrect and the team loses, you get none. We're keeping it simple. And so let's begin with the first matchup of the week. TCU going to Arizona State, Keon, in a showdown out west. TCU's playing some extremely good football right now. Ranked 24, and they're playing good football.
Absolutely.
Really good football. Arizona State's already taken that loss to Mississippi State. They're not ranked because of that, but I will hold it against them, but not nearly as much. I will
I will say this: things have changed since they lost that pearl white scat pack. It's all different.
The bulldozer is now with the New York Giants, with your New York Giants, even if they are 0-3. But either way,
that's a fact.
Yeah, he's actually running good. Actually, so yeah,
he actually leads like all rookie running backs in all stats that you can possibly name.
So, with that being said, does this make an impact on our picks because they do not have a Scatabo anymore? The picks are in. It is a clean
Jeremiah was a horn frog, baby.
There you go. TCU across the board for the brigade, myself and Keon. Keon's sticking with his home state school.
Yep.
And that trip to Arizona there. I think that could be a potentially sneaky good game of the week if you're not careful.
No, for real.
The next matchup. This is gonna get interesting. Duke traveling up to Syracuse and taking on Fran Brown, minus Steve Angeli. Season-ending injury. Went down in the Clemson game and they still beat Clemson.
That kid is a fucking warrior.
Yes, sir. Can Syracuse keep it up against the Blue Devils? Picks are in. Another clean sweep.
Now, I do want to say this before.
Even without Angeli.
I do want to say this. That's a fact. And I do want to say this. Angeli, I'm going to be all the way honest. In a moment of complete and 100% honesty, full transparency, I was not familiar with your game, sir. Okay? You talk about going out there and laying it all on the line. You definitely did that and came out victorious. It is extremely unfortunate that you suffered a season-ending injury, but I will tell you this, I can't wait to see what you do next year because, boy, will I be watching. You got a fan in me for sure.
Apparently, he's watched Toy Story, if for those who didn't know.
Yeah. I was on the TV earlier.
But yeah, now across the board, clean sweep. Listen, I like what Manny Diaz is doing there. I just don't know if they have the pieces, right? And as much as my guy Bryce Davis, I want to see him make more of an impact. He's also a true freshman. I just don't know if the defense can hold up and sustain it against Syracuse. And honestly, Syracuse has the potential to be explosive, it feels like, regardless of the quarterback. We'll find out what happens without Angeli because maybe it was just Clemson not being nowhere near as good as we thought, Keon. We didn't do a barking back, but honestly, if we did, it would make sense to do it because they played us for fools.
No, for
they
sure. They
played us for fools.
Not me, though. I took Syracuse, but no, for you, yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, even before, I'm talking about all the way back till before the season, Keon.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Saturday was the nail in the coffin for their season this year, but that's just me. Neither here nor there, though, Keon. We move on to the third matchup. Southern Cal, USC, the real USC question mark, taking on Illinois. Illinois is coming off of a biblical beatdown against Indiana. And USC not doing terrible on the defensive side. I still think it's a typical Lincoln Riley team. Offense is better than your defense. My guy Jamal, man, Big Jaw got that thick six a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that, but buddy, movement. Yeah.
A thick six. That's you know what? It is crazy in back-to-back weekends that Jamal Jarrett runs back.
No, you're thinking Jordan Davis on that one on the block kick. Nah, Jamal, man, Big Jaw got that interception and ran it back.
Oh yeah,
that was 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago, though.
The thick six.
He ran it back for a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
friend of the show.
Thick six.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Neither here nor there, though, man. I look at USC offensively. I like Hassan Longstreet. I think they're doing good. Malachi Lemon's playing real good football there.
Yep.
I think they have the potential to be explosive. The question for me is, how does Illinois bounce back, or do they just completely cave in? I think it can be a close game, but let's see what the picks say. Clean sweep, third clean sweep here. I just get this feeling, man. USC can be explosive on offense, and I think they might give up some points here. I think it might be close because of that. But if I'm looking at this situation, I just have to trust Lincoln Riley in an offensive shootout. I just think their offense is too explosive. Indiana played us a little bit. I think we slept on them. I think they're better than what we thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
I'll sit there. I'll give the flowers now. I'll give them the flowers now.
Absolutely, got to give Fernando flowers. Got to give.
I mean, you beat a top 10 team 63-10. You've got my attention.
Yeah, got to give the coach Sig Nasty his flowers. Absolutely. I know his name is Signetti, but after
Signetti, cigarette boat Signetti.
Yeah, Sig Nasty just really went crazy on them boys.
He went the fuck off on them. I ain't mad at it though. Give us USC across the board. We bring our first SEC matchup. Keon, what if I told you both of these teams, actually, excuse me, not both of these teams, but one of these teams are still undefeated?
Let's hear it.
And the answer might be surprising. Tennessee going to start Vegas, getting hosted, right? Joey Aguilar getting welcome to Mississippi State. Keon, Mississippi State is undefeated, and they beat Arizona State earlier this season too. Buddy, this matchup's going to be interesting. I love what they're doing at Mississippi State. They've got some explosiveness.
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing right there with Shapen, Brennan Thompson, they've got and Anthony Evans. They've got speed and explosivity. But can they get past that Tennessee defense? And can Aguilar win his first start on the road in an SEC game as an SEC quarterback? The picks are in on this. Surprise, surprise, a clean sweep. Listen, I love Mississippi State's story right now. I really do.
Me too.
They are at 4 wins. They were 4.5.
They're going bowling. They're going bowling for sure.
I think they can. Can.
They are. I'm calling it.
I have faith in them. I have faith in Levy. I do. It's going to be tough. I think they maybe get 6-6, but that's well above what you were supposed to be if you're Mississippi State. Hey, if you lose this game, your season ain't over. Okay.
Right.
You can still play. I think you can get some teams. Tennessee's just a really good fucking football team, Keon. They're a really good fucking football team.
Absolutely.
Period. We stay in the SEC. This is going to be interesting. Notre Dame going to Arkansas. CJ Carr, dude, they haven't won a game yet. I think they're 0-2. It's weird how their schedule is. They haven't won a game yet.
I'm gonna tell you this: they lose this game, playoffs is over, and everybody that is a fan of a team in a P4 conference should honestly have a cocktail, celebrate a little bit, because that means Notre Dame can't pull no bullshit and backdoor their way into the playoffs if they lose this game. Also, shout out to Taylon Green because he's a hometown kid as well. And my guy, Raylan Sharp.
Well, I will say this. Xavier Sori's there, too. That defense is –
absolutely.
Sam Pittman's got his hands – I feel bad for my guy, Pit Boss, man. Regardless of what happens in this game or the rest of the season, I just get this feeling he's gone. So I want him to do well.
Yeah, I think he's going to retire.
I want him to do well. I want him to do well. Still think if Arkansas cuts ties with him, anybody and everybody will come calling for him to be an offensive line coach. Just going to leave that there. But the picks are in for this. Maybe. I think so too. Picks are in. Not a clean sweep. I think Notre Dame gets their first win. I think it's a close one. I think you have to, Keon. If you're Notre Dame, you would be out of your mind not to give the best player on your team the football more. Jeremiah Love should be running the ball more, and he hasn't been, and it's cost you games.
Yep, and I think that continues this week. I think Taylon Green, yet again, you have weapons such as Raylan Sharp over there as well. I think those boys go out there and truly turn up that offense and then put Notre Dame in a real bad position to where you're not going to be able to run the ball efficiently for you to, keep the game going. I got Arkansas on the win. We'll pick Stewie, baby.
I'll tell you this, man. This is one of these kinds of games. This one specifically has the Taylor Green breakout game
written all over it.
Written all over it. So I picked Notre Dame. I think they could take it. Well, I can see either way. I see it either way.
Yeah,
to me, though, I just think Notre Dame is 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
They need this win like a damn camel needs water to survive walking through the Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need this.
Right.
If you don't give your best football player the football and let him make plays and win you this game, what the fuck are you doing?
Absolutely. And like I said, just to wrap it up on this one, I think Arkansas gets it done. I think this is the Taylor Green breakout game, and it's written all over it. And for the Arkansas people, I'm only do this one more time for you. That's it. That's it.
I know my guy J-Rod's probably going to be clipping this. But yeah, listen, it wouldn't surprise me either way. All right. But I just think I think Notre Dame needs this and they find a way to pull it out. We move to the next one. Kentucky, South Carolina.
Oh, we're not gonna spend a lot of time on this. It's South Carolina. I know you didn't pick Kentucky.
Wait a minute. I gotta say this first. If South Carolina loses, hold on.
No.
Stop it.
Rob, you didn't pick Kentucky. Let's see what we got.
Stop it.
No way you picked Kentucky.
If this game goes the way and South Carolina loses this game, calling the shot right now. Beamer to Virginia Tech. With that being said, you knew damn well I wasn't going to pick it. You knew I wasn't going to do it.
Come on, man.
You knew I wasn't going to do it. Lenore Sellers is back. I think he can handle the game by himself.
Yep. What's the next one?
Nah, still though. If that happens, though, Keon, I think Virginia Tech's solid.
Next one. Yeah.
Auburn A&M.
All right.
This is going to be a low-key go game. I'll tell you right now, I love what Marcel Reed and Craver's doing down there.
Yeah.
I love what they're doing. The picks are in on this matchup. Keon, you chose Auburn. And the Brigade and myself, the Brigade and myself, we chose A&M. And we're riding with A&M on this one. What made you choose Auburn?
This is one of those games. This is the most Aggiest of Aggie games. This is the game that the Aggies go Aggie and they fuck around and lose. They could win, but they could lose.
I think you see a couple turnovers for Arnold, and that's what deals the game right there. I think it's close.
Yeah.
I think it's close. Okay. I think it's close. But again, I said it before we dropped our picks here on this one. I'm loving what Mario Craver and Marcel Reed's doing on that offense. I love what they're doing. It's not a surprise to see Craver he's doing his damn thing for sure. We move to this next matchup. The Lane Kiffin daughter boyfriend bowl. I'm gonna call this, okay? That whole drama set right there, buddy. That's a whole ball game there. But Ole Miss is hosting LSU. LSU, I'm not sold on them. I love their defense, but I'm not sold on that offense. Keon, did they get it right, or does Ole Miss win at home? Right?
I think this
Trinidad Chambliss. Trinidad Chambliss has been an excellent story for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think this is a get right game for LSU. I think they come out here firing on all cylinders. And,
Keon's got LSU. Here. Keon, you chose LSU on this. Me and Brigade are riding with Ole Miss again. I think this is the upset. This has the biggest upset right here, in my opinion. Especially Ole Miss at home. Lane Kiffin dials some shit up at home. And I trust that defense, but can that offense get started? If they can't do it, Keon, you're putting your defense in a bad spot.
I definitely.
So I see this going either way. Yeah, this is one of those games I see it going either way. I just wonder what Lane Kiffin's got dialed up. I just see it. I see it. Oregon, Penn State. Oregon and Penn State. the biggest college game day in Happy Valley. Listen, I've been there. That place is phenomenal.
Yeah, looks great.
It's phenomenal.
Oregon
with that
money
being
line.
said, Keon put the Oregon money line, so we know where his allegiance is. I've got Oregon in this matchup too.
Right.
The reason why I've got Oregon in this matchup, Keon, I just think that defensively, I think they can stop the run. Neither team's truly been like tested, right?
Right.
So we really don't know what Penn State looks like. And I know you've got the running backs, and they say they've got the receivers. We're about to find out. We're about to find out.
Yeah, I think Oregon is going to come out there. I think Oregon has the better offense here, but I do think they're going to be able to get some key stops to really affect Penn State in the game. Put Drew Aller in a situation where he has to really step back and throw that ball, and I think that's where you're going to see Oregon have success. I got Oregon.
I think it's a close one too, dude. I think this is a real close game. I don't think it's a high-scoring game. I just get this feeling. I don't think it's going to be high-scoring. I think
Oregon wins this by at least 10 points. At least 10 points. At least.
Well,
at least.
Penn State does lose Abdul Carter. So how much of an impact has that played on them so far? Well, they haven't played nobody, so we don't know. This is a huge what-if game because we just don't know right now. So give us Oregon in this. And honestly, again, we said this before in our 3-and-out segment earlier. Penn State's the home favorite, but it's so close. It's basically a pick 'em because of home field. So this game could go anyway. That was College Game Day's game of the week. This is our game of the week. And you know good and goddamn well, Alabama, Georgia had to be the game of the week for DGD Podcast. Just had to be. We've went in depth. We've done this before. Keon, the pick is in.
Y'all already know.
The Brigade goes with Georgia. Me and you both go Alabama. I know people are going to look at this and be like, what in the fuck? I know they are. I know they're looking at this right now and being like, what the fuck? Let's talk this out. Why we chose Alabama.
A couple of reasons, man. I think with them, they have had the better passing attack through, the first 3 games. I will say that. I will give them that. But a big thing for me at this point, me personally, you got to beat them. You got to beat them. You got to beat them. That's Kirby, Georgia players, y'all, Georgia coaches, y'all got to beat them. And it's that simple. Right? At this point, I would much rather come back to this podcast and say, hey, I was wrong. I should have went with my gut. I should have went with my heart. But see, my brain just tells me at this point, Kirby Smart is 1-9 against these guys. 1-9. If it's not now, it's never.
When has this Alabama team felt more vulnerable? Like that's what we're wondering, right? But again, time after time, the 1-9. Listen, Kirby's played them a lot. Listen, Kirby has yet to play them at Athens. We said this before.
Right.
We said this before. Kirby's just struggling. And listen, most of those games were against Saban. I get that. I'm not discrediting that. But I sat there and watched them go to Tuscaloosa last year when a lot of people thought Georgia had a better team and still lost.
Yep.
You made a valiant effort to come back, and you had it, but you blew it. And you let Ryan Williams make the play. And listen, I get it. He's not here no more. Number 12 is not here no more. I'm not going to name names, but he is not here no more. Georgia feels like they're in a good spot. The national media is all over Georgia in this one. I've heard a lot of predictions going Georgia's way. I need to see Georgia beat Alabama more consistently to make me feel comfortable. I sat here this time last year, Keon, and this was when Jaden got to make the pick. And a 6-year-old at the time, a 6-year-old made us look stupid.
Absolutely.
Because we sat there that Monday after that game and had to sit here and talk about what went wrong for an hour to an hour and a half. And it felt like another situation where it was just a super close game, but we made one mistake at the wrong time, the last one, and you lose the ball game. Did it impact the season? No, we still won the conference and this and that, but we still lost to Bama. We still lost to Bama, and that hurts just as much.
Yet again, I would much rather come back to this very same platform Monday
Completely
morning
agree.
and say how wrong I was for the pick I just made for the Georgia-Bama game than for me to come in on Monday and say I was right.
It's going to be a lot easier to take that comment. Yeah. And listen, we might be the only Georgia podcast that goes against Georgia this week. I've just been bitten the ass too many times in this matchup to know. I just need to see it done. And Keon, you said it first, man. I look at this matchup, and if it ain't now, when is it going to be? When is it going to be? You see what I mean? Like, what do you do with that?
Right.
Listen, you talk about rat poison and all this and that, right? We've had those discussions throughout the years. Listen, Bama's eating all this shit up right now because everybody's picking Georgia. You don't think that's going to light a fire under their ass?
Right.
So I told you earlier, they're going to come out here, and I guarantee you get their best shot.
Right.
You're going to get their best shot. And they've got the talent to make you fucking pay if you ain't careful too.
Absolutely.
I don't care what that Florida State game looks like.
Me either.
Don't think this Bama team is that fucking Florida State team or that Florida State game team. I'm telling you, we can sit there and pick and prod about how they look like shit against Florida State and they ain't played nobody since.
Right.
But I guarantee you, when they see that light, when they see those lights and they see that power G, they know. Because a lot of those same guys, think about this, a lot of the same guys that are at Alabama right now were recruited by Kirby Smart.
They sure were.
They know what the shit means. They know exactly what it means. So we've got Bama. Brigade is riding with Georgia. I hope I'm wrong.
Me too. Me too.
And listen, I'm expecting, Keon, I'm expecting a lot of people to give us grief and call us non-believers and non-fans. Fair. I understand. But if we lose Monday, I don't want to be that person that said we were right. So please prove me wrong, at least. Please prove me wrong.
Right.
And
but
listen,
any closing thoughts, Rob?
I want Georgia to win. I just need to see them do it.
Same.
Because, and listen, there's a shit ton at stake here. 32 longest streak in longest home streak, longest current home streak, 32. Make it 33, please. Make it 33 for me. All right. Hey, my birthday was yesterday. Do me a solid, Kirby. Just saying.
I'm saying Ryan's comment down here. Y'all have a live podcast and you're saying you're not a fan. No, that's not it. That's not what we're saying. We are Georgia fans. But at this point, what we're saying is we need to see Georgia get out here and get a win. And until I
think what he's saying, I think what he's also saying there, Keon, is the fact that like I said earlier, I think people are going to see this and be like, oh, y'all aren't fans. Dude, I've been bitten ass too many times in this matchup. I've seen too many of them. He gets it. Ryan gets it too.
Yeah.
I want to see Georgia prove me wrong. And then at that point, I'll feel comfortable. Dude, I sat here, had all the faith in the fucking world last year. I knew it. I expected us to have more struggles against Texas.
I did too.
And then and then it was a Jekyll and Hyde game.
Yep.
So prove me wrong. If you do, I'm telling you right now, Keon, if Georgia wins this matchup,
the entire Monday,
show.
The entire
We
Monday is
everybody
literally
come in and clown us. Just clown us.
Yeah.
Please. We'll sit here live and let people clown us. And that'll be the podcast. Just saying. If we're wrong, we'll read every comment. We'll have comments on the live and just let people go.
Yep.
I'm completely content with that. You heard it here first. So again, 32 games, Keon, home streak. I'd love to see it 33. Let's see if Georgia can pull it out. Either way, that play is going to be fucking crazy. I know that for a fact.
Absolutely.
So again, if you're going to the game, make that play, make it hell for them. Okay, make it hell for them. Period. And then also make sure you get Bark performance, and so you can stay hydrated while you hydrate even more, if you know what I mean. DGDpod.com/Bark for 10% off that first order of yours too. But Keon, that's all I've got. Do you have anything to say before we wrap this show up? Okay.
Prove us
With
wrong.
that being said, prove us wrong. Please and thank you, Kirby Smart. With that being said, that's all we've got for this episode of the DGD Podcast. I'm Robert. That's Keon. We'll catch y'all next time. Catch y'all Monday. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.